remote control. It's like magic. Okay, well, let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into the trunk here and continue our in-depth look at what remains of my Laserdisc collection today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back, and greetings everyone. Kind of forgot to do that before, didn't I? Okay, so let's see. I did a little bit of reshuffling and reorganizing in here because I realized there were a few things that should have been together with other things that weren't, and some things were out of sequence and whatnot. So I fixed everything, and I think we've more or less got a nice little set of themed sections we can talk about over the course of the next few videos. Okay, so first off, I believe in part 1 we talked about my Nightmare on Elm Street Laserdiscs. Let's take a quick peek again. We got the Elite Entertainment Collector's Edition of the first one, the beautiful 2-disc gatefold edition loaded with extras, which is great. And then of course we've got Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which was the 6th movie of the original Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And they do, of course, come with the official Freddy's Dead 3D glasses for the 3D segment at the end. I should mention, I don't think I mentioned before, the only section of it that's in 3D is the final battle with Freddy in the dream world at the end. And it's actually available on here as an extra. So you can watch it either in 2D, just as a part of the main flow of the movie, or you can skip that and go ahead to the 3D version, which is included as an extra. Again, there's no menus or anything, so you basically just chapter skip ahead to the 3D version and watch that when you get to that point. So, pretty cool. Now, carrying on with that, I knew there was another one that I still had. Also got Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. Or just New Nightmare, sorry. And the reason I kept this one around is much the reason I kept the other ones around. This has some extras on it that I wasn't sure were available on the DVD edition. Let's see what we got here. So of course we have the movie in widescreen. It's a CLV single disc edition. And in terms of extras, yeah, we've got a running commentary by writer-director Wes Craven, which was quite informative and good. He does some really good commentaries, I have to say. He always has interesting things to talk about. And then you basically got a collection of television spots and the original theatrical trailer. There's actually 6 television spot previews, trailers, promos, whatever, and there's the theatrical trailer. So the main reason I kept it around was simply because I wasn't 100% sure if all of those extras were on the DVD edition. I know at least the commentary is, but I didn't know if all of the trailers were. So just to be safe, I decided to keep this in the collection. As I think I mentioned before, I did actually used to have all 7 Nightmare on Elm Street movies on Laserdisc. And I should mention my friend Ben and I. Ben, you longtime viewers of my YouTube videos may remember Ben from way back in 2006 when I first started. 2006 to 2007 when I was did a lot of collaboration videos with him, just sort of silly little short comedy pieces, and we were also doing the 2 Guys and an Effects Box project. Well, often while we were working on our various projects, we would just kind of take a break and watch some movies. And one night, we decided to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I did not realize this at the time, but Ben had actually not seen any of them. So I had the whole set of 7, so I said, well, why don't we watch them? So we watched the first one, and then we watched, I think, all the extras, and then we watched the movie again with the commentary, all in one night. And he just fell in love with it. He just thought it was a great horror series, and he was really taken by just how creative and cool it was, and couldn't believe that he'd missed it all these years. So then we watched, I think we watched the second one as well that night, and then it was getting pretty late. So then the second night, this is like the next night, he comes over again, and we watched the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th one, and then watched the 7th one again with the commentary track, all in one epic sitting. That was just amazing. That was a night that neither of us will ever forget. It's funny because we would get to the end of one of the movies, and then I just kind of glance over at him, like not even saying anything, sort of as if to ask with my glance, do you want to keep going? And he'd just look at me and he'd say, you know, Sean, I'm not a pussy. I'm like, okay, putting on the next one. We just sort of kept going every time, like between the movies, like, not a pussy, Sean. Let's keep going. Okay. So, but needless to say, by the end of it, we were just like exhausted and our brains were cottage cheese. But that was like the most epic Nightmare on Elm Street viewings I've ever had. So, carrying on, I think this was the first big release from Elite Entertainment, and it's one that I've always treasured. A lot of people have asked me, why don't you have this in your DVD collection? Well, the answer is simple. Because I have it in my Laserdisc collection. Yes, the original Night of the Living Dead. This one is really notable because this is the first time that they actually went back to the original master prints and struck a whole new master for the Laserdisc release. Prior to this, most people had only seen this on public domain releases of old, scratchy, crappy quality theatrical prints. And in fact, at the very beginning of this, they have sort of a little nod to that, where they have just the title from the movie from an old crappy print, and it's all jumpy and crappy, and the sound's all warbling. And then you get into the actual movie on the disc, and it is the most pristine print you've ever seen. It's just absolutely beautiful. Now, if you're wondering if the content from this was ever released on DVD, the answer is yes. There was an edition called the Millennium Edition. Came in a red DVD case, and it has all the content from this Laserdisc edition. If you're looking for one definitive DVD edition of Night of the Living Dead to get, it's the Millennium Edition. I'm not sure what it goes for these days. It's one that I've been meaning to pick up for ages just for the sake of convenience to have this content viewable in a more convenient form, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So this is a beautiful edition. It's a combination of CLV and CAV. The first disc is CLV, which has the movie, and the second disc is CAV, which has a bunch of the extras. So here's what you got for extras on this. I mean, talk about a bonus package. So you have actually 2 commentaries on this. Yes, 2 commentaries on Laserdisc. On Analog Track 1, you've got commentary by George Romero, John Russo, Carl Hardman, and Marilyn Eastman. On Analog Track 2, you have commentary by principal cast members Bill Heinzman, Judith O'Dea, Keith Wayne, Kyra Shawn, Russell Streiner, and Vince Cervinsky. And then you've got an exclusive interview with Judy Ridley contained in the supplementary section, which is on, I believe, sides 3 and 4. Holy Moses. Okay, yeah, Elite really went all out with this. This is all the extras. Sides 3 and 4. This is the movie, and this is all the extras. And then you got an old archival cast photo there, and then you got an updated modern cast photo there from the around the time that they made the Laserdisc edition. I guess it looks like it's actually from the recordings of the commentaries. So it's pretty cool. You get to see what they look like then and now, right here in the gatefold. So this was actually originally put out in 1994. Wow, it doesn't seem like it's that old. But yeah, 1994. And then the Millennium Edition DVD, I guess, came out in 2000, I'm guessing, 99 or 2000. So a few years later. And in terms of special features, you got, just to sort of give you the summary on the back here without going into it chapter by chapter, you got production photos, trailers, advertising materials, the complete script in still frame form. That's one of the reasons it's CAV. Early Latent Image commercials. Latent Image was George Romero's original production company, and they used to do television commercials and such. So they actually put a lot of those old commercials on here. Scenes from the Lost Romero film, There's Always Vanilla, aka The Affair. I'm not sure what the status of that is, if they ever found anything or released it in some form. I haven't really looked into it much. But yeah, so anyway, at the time it was a big deal because it was one of the first times you could actually get a decent look at decent pieces of it. And an extensive still library of rare black and white and color photos. Hi, I'm back. Sorry about that. Rosie actually woke up, and yeah, she's unfortunately kind of sick right now. Sniffles, cough, very light fever. Yeah, so Daddy's having to look after her and trying to get her to sleep through the night to, you know, get better. But she keeps waking up and needing some love. So I of course oblige. Anyway, where were we? Night of the Living Dead, the ultimate Uber Laserdisc edition from Elite Entertainment. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They got a lot of supplementary material on here. They've got sort of rare interviews with various cast members, most notably the late Dwayne Jones, who was, of course, the lead character. Very cool. And he actually went on to become a teacher after this. And he talks about some of his experiences there. Some of his students recognized him at one point. And, they talked about his experiences making the movie a little bit. But he didn't really do much acting after Night of the Living Dead, which is a shame because he was fantastic in it. And I think he's, very fondly remembered. In addition to that, I should mention the liner notes in here. You actually have 3 little essays and personal reminiscences from no less than Stephen King, Sam Raimi, and Tom Savini, and they talk about their first experiences seeing Night of the Living Dead for the first time and recognizing it even at the time as being a huge film that was going to have a lot of impact in the horror genre. Well, I think I've rambled quite a bit about, 2? Yeah, we talked about like 2 Laserdiscs here. Well, I gave you some personal stories too. But I mean, as I said in the first part, I wanted to kind of go in depth as much as I could on all of these and give you a lot of information because, quite frankly, I don't have a lot of them right now. So why not stretch it out for a while, right? Alrighty, so that's it for today. Next time, we're going to talk about a couple of vampire movies, actually, that, well, probably not the vampire movies you may be thinking of. I don't know. I'll leave you to speculate about it until the next episode. So until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara. At long last, we shall continue.